Hello. Look who I have with me at school today. This is Georgia. Georgia's at school and you're not. Isn't that funny? She is going to learn some math with us today. Is that okay? All right. So, do you remember how we talk about every once in a while in math class, we have something so easy that you can't believe that it's actually what you have to learn? Well, today I have one of those lessons for you. It's called a unit fraction. And a unit fraction is a fraction that you and I really have talked about a lot this year. We just didn't know it had a name. Oh, do you see Georgia? She's trying to sniff the board. Our unit fractions are fractions that have a numerator. Remember, the numerator is the top number, denominator is the bottom number, that has a numerator of 1, just 1. So all of those fractions that you and I talk about, 1/5, 1/2, 1/3, 1/8. I know somebody out there is probably thinking 1/106. Those are all called unit fractions. And we need to know unit fractions because we use them in the next concept that we're going to talk about. So, do you know what the word decompose means? Sometimes we think of decompose when we talk about science, right? We talk about things breaking apart in science, and that's called decomposing. Well, in fractions, we can actually decompose fractions as well. I'm going to write this word down for you because it's kind of a big word. We can decompose fractions, meaning we can break our fractions apart. It still equals the same thing. It's just a different way to look at it. Do you remember in the beginning of the year how we used to do expanded form? Well, decomposing is kind of like expanded form for fractions, only we're not going to use zeros this time. Sometimes we're going to use what we just talked about a minute ago, which were those unit fractions. So let's say that we're going to take 2/5. And we want another way to write 2/5. Well, we can decompose or break our 2/5 apart into something different. It's going to equal the same thing, 2/5, but it's going to look different. So let's try. I know in my head, what plus what could give me 2? Well, how about 1 plus 1 can give me 2, correct? 1 plus 1 gives me 2. I mean, that's babyish. Well, when we do fractions, we need a numerator and a denominator, a numerator and denominator. When you add fractions, you never add the denominators. You only add the numerators. The denominator's never going to change. So we don't need to add 5 and 5 to give us 10. Why? Because we never add denominators. Never, never, never. We never do that. When the denominators are the same, we're not going to touch them. We like it that way. Remember, it's called a common denominator. We talked about that one before break. So 1 plus 1 would give me 2, and we're not going to add our denominators. We're just going to slide them across, and 5, there's my 2/5. We just decomposed a fraction. All right, let's look at it again, because you know me, I never like one example, I need a couple. All right, let's look at a different fraction. Let's say we want to decompose 5/8. All right, we'll go back to when you were really little and you learned all your addition math facts. Well, what plus what gave me 5? I got one. Doesn't 2 plus 3 give me 5? I could decompose 5/8 by saying 2 plus 3. But remember, we're talking fractions, so we need a numerator and a denominator. Numerator, denominator. 2/8 plus 3/8 equals 5/8. Now let's go back to what we were talking about in the beginning of this lesson when we were talking about unit fractions. Could I break this apart a different way using unit fractions? You got it. 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8. Can you guess how many 1/8s I'm going to need? I think it's 5, right? Because our numerator is 5. 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 is 5/8. That's another way to decompose 5/8 using all unit fractions. Let's try it again, because you know me, I love examples. All right, let's try it again. You ready? Let's say we've got 6/9, and we want to decompose 6/9. Can you think of 2 different ways to decompose 6/9? Well, I know that 2/9 plus 2/9 gives me 4/9, so I need another one. So 2 plus 2 plus 2, or 2 times 3 equals 6/9. There's one way to decompose 6/9. Can you think of another way? How about 3/9 plus 3/9? Is 3 plus 3 6? Can you think of another way using unit fractions? I've got to write 1/9 how many times? 6 times. But does it work? It does. It just takes me a long time and I ran out of space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There I go. There it is. Did you see it? So this is called decomposing fractions. So you've just learned 2 things in about 15 minutes. Unit fraction. Remember, a unit fraction is a fraction that has 1 as a numerator. Doesn't matter what the denominator is. If it has 1 as a numerator, it's called a unit fraction. Why do we need to know that? Because when we go to decompose or break apart those fractions, we could use unit fractions as those. Now remember, you never add denominators. If the denominators are the same, you just slide it on over. Numerators is what we're looking at to add. All right, I hope this helped. And I've got some practice pages for you. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. Don't forget to do your practice pages. I will see you soon.